Hey, g'day. How's it going? Factory Town is a beautifully bright and vibrant game focused on developing efficient production chains in order to provide for your townsfolk. Now please keep in mind that this game is in early access and everything that you see and hear may change as it is further developed. And also keep in mind that this review is based on that fact. Factory Town has a great learning curve. It starts off simple and then it escalates at a relatively consistent rate. The tutorial does a great job of easing the player into the basic premise of the game. You'll often find that adding a new production chain will require a rethink of your entire town layout, which results in a beautifully ever-evolving township. This also means that deciding to increase your provisions for your townsfolk, from only, say, wheat to adding eggs to their diet, can vastly change the way your production chain needs to work. You also aren't forced to progress at a rapid pace, which allows for a more relaxing playthrough. There are, though, a few stage gates that the player must pass through in order to expand to certain town centres, so you are forced to progress in some way. But you'll often find that you can quite comfortably optimise your town for its basic needs at whatever pace you would like. Luckily, if you do find you get stuck, however, there's a burgeoning community whose really great ideas can be used to increase the efficiency of your towns to levels that are beyond most people's mental capacity. So head to Reddit and check some of them out. Now I've played about 10 hours of this game and I'd say I've only just scratched the surface. There's easily another 20 hours in my current playthrough. So for an indie game, this is pretty incredible. Now on top of this already long game length, there's also numerous different map types, from islands to volcanic plates and deserts, which contain no water at all, meaning that you will face different challenges depending on the topography and geographical features of the map you're playing on, which results in a much higher replayability. Now, if peak efficiency is more your thing, there is also a creative mode, which allows you to test production chains and work out how best you can fulfill your townfolk's needs. I do have some suggestions that I would like to see. I haven't marked these suggestions as detractors to the score, as the game is still in early access, and so I'd like you to keep that in mind also. My first suggestion is I'd like to make it clearer where your workers are travelling. I often find I click on a worker who may be stuck and it's not obvious where he's dropping things off and picking them up. This makes it hard to find the information you need at a glance and ensure that your workers are doing what they should. Secondly, I'm an avid Paradox interactive game player, so I love seeing stats. And whilst I don't expect a ledger the size of Europa Universalis 4, I would love a way to see the average speed that I harvest a resource, or gain yellow coins, or whatever the case may be. Or at least, at the rate at which I'm producing a certain good, so I know whether I'm making a loss or not. I would also like a clearer explanation of how adding additional outputs affects production buildings. If I have 4 additional workers, yes, it adds 100% production speed. But how is that distributed? How much faster does my wheat grow? How many seconds does it take to build a pickaxe now? It's small bits of information like that that really provide much needed clarity. Finally, I'd like the ability to change how many of a building's workers work on each recipe. Perhaps this fundamentally goes against the challenge of the game, but it'd be nice to be able to assign 2 workers in the mine to mine iron and 1 to mine coal. Factory Town is a quaint resource and logistical management sim. It blends the complex production chains of the likes of Factorio with a fun and bright art style. The difficulty curve is served to the player at a consistent rate, and you are free to progress at your own pace. Now despite this, I found the game to provide sufficient challenge to keep me occupied for numerous hours. With the inclusion of numerous randomizable map types, there is significant provision for replayability. Factory Town is a tremendous production chain management sim, and one I can wholeheartedly recommend to lovers of the genre. So, despite being in early access, this game is great. It's a solid, 9 out of 10. Uru.